Thank you, First Minister, for taking the time to join us this afternoon. We really appreciate it, and this is a wonderful opportunity to reflect on the success of the SEREN programme over the last few years of this administration, especially the establishment of an international aspect to SEREN. I just want to thank our SEREN alumni, well, not alumni, well, they are alumni, SEREN, our SEREN alumni. First Minister, I think it's over to you for a few words before I know our students have got some questions that they'd like to ask.
Well, all it is for me to do is just to say thank you for the chance to catch up with you all. I'm very much looking forward to hearing directly about your experiences, about how it has worked out, about the things you've enjoyed, the things we can take away from you, because you're not just alumni, really, you know, you're pioneers as well, aren't you? You're people who are doing it for the first time. So it's really important for us that we hear from you as to what you think the strengths of the programme have been, where you think we should think about taking it next. And it's great to be doing it around St David's Day, always a big day here, and I've been doing lots of St David's Day stuff today, so this will be a very nice addition to all of that. And Kirsty, I think I heard you saying just as I was joining that, are we going to hear from everybody first? Just a little bit about what you've been doing and what you want to tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we do that then? We'll go round everybody, and perhaps you can do a potted history of where you are now and how you got to be there, and then we'll go to some questions. So perhaps Liam, we'll start with you about your involvement in SEREN and the exciting things that you've got planned next.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity this afternoon, and it's really nice to catch up with you, First Minister. I think that the last time I saw you was at the Senedd around 2 years ago for the St David's Awards, and before then my involvement with SEREN had been phenomenally fulfilling for me as someone who graduated in 2017. I'd been studying overseas in Singapore and in the US at Yale NUS and at Yale, and came back to Wales really excited about what SEREN had to offer, and really wanted to get involved and to see how I could support that. And the 2 years since then have been no less fulfilling. It's just continued to grow and develop, and it's been amazing to be a part of that and to see that. And obviously we've got three, the best manifestations of that here with us today. So I'm really here to just reiterate the value that I see in SEREN, in seeing the students who've come through the programme and are really thriving because of it, and also to say how it's been really personally fulfilling to me, and it's continued to raise my own ambitions. So seeing people like Dante and Yusuf and Ellie thrive has led me to think, okay, how do I try to take it to the next level? And it's been a pleasure to work with the education team on various partnerships, and I'm really excited that from August, September this year, I'll be going to California to pursue my own graduate studies at Stanford, and hoping to stay involved and connected to Wales just as much nonetheless. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Oh, thanks, Liam. Thanks for that. Should we go to Ellie? Ellie, would you like to tell the First Minister a little bit about your SEREN journey and where you are now?
Okay, hi. So I'm a Llanelli girl, born, raised, bred, everything, and I mean, I think everyone goes to this moment where you watch like a big American college film and you're like, that's gonna be me, but then really in your mind, in reality, you're like, no, it's not. I'm just gonna go somewhere else. But then thanks to SEREN, really, I got a random message from my high school that was like, oh, do you want to apply to Yale for something? And I was like, oh, okay. And thanks to SEREN, it actually happened. And then I went there and I was like, I actually love this so much. I don't have to decide any course I'm going to do. I don't have to actually decide what my life is going to be from university, in the sense of I pick what I'm going to have my degree in and I have to stick to it. In the US, you have this liberty of finding things. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You simply put it together until it makes the piece that you want, and you can keep on changing things, take out a corner, put it back in. That's the analogy I use a lot, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, so I went to YYGS, and because of that, I fell in love with the American system. I was on the Fulbright Sutton Trust thing, as I think Yusuf and Dante were as well. And yeah, I think I was telling the Minister of Education earlier that CERN just gave me the opportunity to try and not be afraid of the answer, because at least I tried. And because of CERN, I did try, and they gave me the opportunity and the sort of this beautiful community that felt like a family, that was like, if you fall, we're going to be here because it's fine. And I didn't fall, actually. They just like propelled me forward, and now I'm studying liberal arts in a college in Annapolis called St. John's College, and I'll be actually moving to their Santa Fe campus maybe next year if I fancy it. And so it's an amazing opportunity, and all the things I've done so far, working with the Oxford Summer Schools through Siren and Liam, going to a thing called Rilla this summer to study liberal arts in Italy and learn Italian, and actually working with one of the Kennedys and things like that. It's been amazing. So thanks to Siren, all this has happened.
Oh, thanks, Ellie. And then over to Chicago, and we've got Dante.
Hi, so I'm Dante. I'm a former Siren alum and former student at Lemission High School. So pretty much similar to everyone else, when I was 16, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I definitely didn't picture myself being in Chicago like I am today. So I did my A-levels last year, and I'm currently at the University of Chicago in Hyde Park. And I think the Siren Network helped me to kind of gain the confidence that I needed to make sure that I knew my worth, I knew my skill set, I knew what I was capable of. But it was just in terms of like, I just needed to kind of come to terms with that and be brave enough to kind of apply to these programs and kind of realize the opportunities available to me. And I think one of the most special things from the Siren Network is not what I've done throughout the program. So that like as great as like the Yale Summer School was, the Oxford Summer School, I think the most valuable thing to me has been what I've done afterwards as an ambassador and helping other people realize their potential and how accessible these opportunities are. And I think that's something that served me well on campus already. So like I have this internship lined up in the summer here in Chicago, which basically entails me kind of helping to set up this tutoring service for children who are in the south side of Chicago, but also an online thing for students who are in Vietnam and China. So I think just the skill of being able to show kids that these kind of opportunities are accessible has been like very valuable to me.
Thanks, Dante. And then last but not least, First Minister, someone that you know, Fitzallen's finest, Yusuf.
Indeed.
Hi, First Minister. It's so great to see you again. But yeah, so I'm Yusuf from Fitzallen High School, and just like everybody else, after watching so many American movies, I was like, I want to study in America, but I had no idea how to do it. And it was actually my one of the deputy head teachers of my school, Mrs. Kemp, who was like integral in like my way to Siren Network, and she really helped me like get to grips with what Siren provides. And then she told me about the Yale Young Up Scholars program, and we thought this was both like a really interesting, engaging opportunity for me to actually learn if going to America is really right for me. And having gone to the program with like Liam's help with like setting that up, and then going onto the program and stepping foot on Yale's campus was just a life-changing event. And being able to study in America for 2 weeks absolutely changed my perceptions of what I wanted to do in the future. And I just fell in love with the liberal arts system and the American system, and I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. So along with the Siren Network then too, I discovered the Fulbright Sutton Trust US program, and with their help and the Siren Network's help, I eventually gained the confidence to actually apply to American universities, and I managed to actually be here now. So I'm now at Harvard and in my second year, and it's just a crazy opportunity, all thanks to my parents, Mrs. Kemp, the Siren Network and the Sutton Trust. And it's just so great to see everybody succeed on the Siren Network program and chasing our dreams that we thought were like once impossible for like a very small country. And it's just really great to see like having Welsh pride, like spreading like Wales as a real country to all Americans on my campus, and like telling the deans about how great Wales is. It's just an amazing opportunity, and I've just like fell in love with like telling like everybody about like how great Wales is, so much so that I became the vice president of the British Club now at Harvard. So we're now like institutionalizing Welsh pride on like the British campus on campus. And yeah, and I'll be running like the first year international pre-orientation programs at Harvard. So I'll be spreading the great word of Wales to all the international students in the next cohort of international students at Harvard. So all this is thanks to Sarah Network, and like their amazing opportunity to provide me with the confidence to like be myself and know that my dreams aren't impossible and I can strive for whatever I want to do.
Oh, thanks, Yusuf. And it's a really useful reminder, isn't it, about how important teachers are in schools and the SERN coordinators in the local areas, and about how they facilitate the engagement of students from school into the programme. So yeah, absolutely. A massive thank you to Mrs. Kemp and all the other teachers and coordinators that are helping, make sure that those opportunities are available. So I don't know then if we'll turn to some time for some questions, First Minister, if that's okay with you, because I know Absolutely. That our alumni do have some points they'd like to raise with both of us. So perhaps we'll go to you again then, Liam, and start with you. Any questions you have for myself or in particular the First Minister?
Yes, happy to. Thank you. The question really, I think, is for both of you. I think for me, SERN is about so much more than just educational progress, although we are discussing that today. For me, it's about economic and social mobility beyond school and beyond university, and ensuring economic prosperity, strengthening global ties, building soft power, all of those things which come with building a successful nation. How do you each then view the relationship between what SERN has achieved and Wales's future economy and maturing devolved democracy? It's obviously quite a broad question, but I wonder if either of you've got thoughts on that.
First Minister?
Well, look, I think the question is especially relevant at this moment in our history. We have, just to the regret of many of us, left the European Union. And there is a real risk that, that this moment becomes one when we turn our back on the rest of the world, where we look inwards and think that the future for Wales is one in which links with other places in the globe has done us harm and are to be avoided. So it's an interesting narrative because it joins people, on the far right and the far left of politics. People who I know and who are more part of my world, there are some there who regard, globalization as a huge capitalist plot, and that Wales is better off trying to just sort of put up the barriers and resist it all. And on the other side of the political spectrum, there are clearly people who, for whom anything different, anything that doesn't look completely familiar to you is a threat and causes anxieties about the future. Well, look, we are determined to be the opposite to that. We are determined as a Welsh government that we will work even harder than we have up until now to make it clear to the rest of the world that Wales remains an outward-looking internationalist place, keen to welcome people from the rest of the world to Wales, lucky enough to attract people to make their futures part of our future. And in order to do that, then Wales needs to be in the world. So, our network of international offices that Gareth is part of, we're not pulling back from any of that. Our Brussels office will continue to be there as a focus for Wales in Europe. And we are building up new and very important relationships with regional governments in other parts of the world. So, our links with the Basque country, our links with Brittany, with Flanders, with Baden-Württemberg, Emilia-Romagna, these are all, important regional centres of authority, and we are going to make sure that we are there alongside them to fashion an outward-looking internationalist future for Wales. So, everything that you're doing, the Seren programme does, is absolutely aligned with that. And this is a moment where we've got to make those efforts even more consciously and determinedly, because they are, in some ways, against the momentary tide. But we need to be there when the tide turns, and a different set of beliefs, takes hold again, and you will all be part of that. And that's why it's been great to hear you all this afternoon. And indeed, where you all are, you're in a country where states matter in a way that most people in the United Kingdom have no concept of, do they? They think, oh, America, one big place, all the same, one president, that's all you need to know. Whereas all you will know that, if you're in Massachusetts or California or Maryland or wherever you happen to be, then you're living in a very particular part with very strong identification and devolved, authorities that make the United States what it is as well.
And thank you so much. It's a brilliant answer.
Absolutely. I just think, Liam, you're absolutely right. Seren is about just so much more than education. And, we take great pride in supporting students with a system that is portable. And I just think that there's such I get such immense pride to hear Yusuf talking about, the soft power that he's employing, and letting people know in Harvard that Wales exists and the opportunities that are here. And I think those linkages, we just never know where they're going to go, do we? So, Liam, you volunteered as part of the Seren programme, and then you were able to use your experiences in the United States to help the nation grow and to give the opportunities that we've talked about this afternoon to Dante and Ellie and Yusuf. And who knows, the next time that Yusuf may be able to do something, with wherever he ends up in the world next, and Dante and Ellie the same, and be able to advance, Wales and advance Welsh citizens in a way that perhaps we can't even guess at this moment, but I'm sure it's going to be exciting. Yusuf, how about you? A question for the First Minister.
Yeah, sure. So obviously Seren has allowed students like me, the first generation, low income, wherever, to study abroad at elite universities and broaden our horizons. And Seren has truly helped students make the world our oyster. But thinking about after graduation, I'm not sure what my plans are going to be. I have no idea what I want to do or where I want to go. And if some people might end up not going back to Wales, so this could lead to an even more prominent brain drain from Wales. So what is the Welsh government thinking about doing to prevent the acceleration of the brain drain and incentivize students to return back to Wales and continue making Wales a stronger, better country?
Okay, Yusuf, thank you very much. We're looking forward to having you back, of course. But the first thing for me to say is I'm absolutely resistant to the idea that there is in some parts of Welsh society that somehow we should incentivise Welsh young people to study and stay in Wales. I am very keen that Welsh young people feel that they can go anywhere in the world they like to study and to gain those other experiences, because when people do come back, they bring that incredible richness with them, and there's no one way back. There's no one way back. You will be an ambassador for Wales, you said, wherever you go next, won't you? And when those far off days when we were able to travel anywhere, then wherever I went, I would meet people from Wales who still absolutely regarded that as part of what they were about. When I went to Japan for the Rugby World Cup, the Rugby World Cup wasn't there, I think, before it. It happened to be on when I was there. But I met the president of Clwb Hiraeth. And Clwb Hiraeth is a group of Japanese business people who have spent part of their working lives in Wales. And, Wales is always part of them from there on. And they meet regularly to just share experiences and memories of the president was 85 years old, and he'd come here in 1974 to help set up the Sony factory in Bridgend, and there he was, 40 years later, still doing his bit for Wales, and genuinely doing it, talking to people about it in the way that you described. So we do offer some actually specific incentives in some areas to persuade people who studied elsewhere to come back to Wales. So we do that with young doctors to come and be part of the health service and so on. But I am keen for people to make their own journeys, make their own contribution. The day will come when you will want to come back to Wales, and Wales will be all the richer for everything that you will have done in the meantime. So, I think you should go where the path takes you, and eventually, maybe quickly. I studied outside Wales and came back to Wales very quickly after I finished studying. Was very glad to do that, but for other people it takes longer. But when it happens, it's always got that extra ingredient that comes with having spent time in different parts of the world with other people and the enrichment that provides.
I couldn't agree more, First Minister. I had the wonderful opportunity of studying at Manchester, but also in the United States for a year. And I think both of those experiences have been hugely beneficial when I too, following graduation, came home to Wales and have, lived the rest of my life and worked the rest of my life in Wales. And like you, I think there's lots of ways you can contribute to our nation. And sometimes you can do that very successfully whilst you're not actually living here. And if we think about the Oxford Summer School, that has been generously supported by an ex-pupil of a Cardiff high school who doesn't find himself living in Wales at the moment, but wanted to be able to use his success to help fellow Welsh students. So there's lots of ways you can contribute to your nation, even when you're not necessarily living and working here. Ellie, your question.
Yeah, so I think all of us here, the students, act as evidence that your time as First Minister for Wales, you've been a great ambassador and supporter of exchange programmes, and you provide life-changing opportunities across the world for people like me. But I was wondering, with the election looming in Wales, will CRN and sort of education exchange programmes be in your manifesto?
Yes, look, I am very committed to making sure that the sort of opportunities that you've all had go on being expanded and created in the next Senedd term. We're having to reshape it all, because he's very much involved in all of this at the moment, because for reasons which many of us deeply regret and dispute, the UK government has decided not to make involvement in Erasmus Plus one of the programmes that he will go on paying into the European Union, so young people in Wales can take advantage of it. And Wales was a huge user of the Erasmus Plus programme. It was created by a Welshman, Howell Carey-Jones, probably the most senior person we ever had in the Brussels sort of system, in the Commission. So Howell created Erasmus, as it then was, and we've always been great users of it. And now that isn't going to be available in the same way. So what we've been talking about is bringing together all the different ways in which we are able to provide opportunities for young people to study abroad, and for young people from abroad to come and study in Wales. It is a two-way process. Looking for new ways to bring all those things together into a single programme, and to make sure that young people who want to and are able to take advantage of them know the whole range of possibilities that will be there for them. And we're going to have to do it in a new and more imaginative ways. Because I met the German ambassador recently, and he was really keen to say that they would be prepared to put some money into bilateral arrangements between Welsh universities and German universities, so German young people can continue to come and study in Wales. I talked to the Republic of Ireland Foreign Minister Simon Coveney just a couple of weeks ago, and again, we're so lucky, despite what we have done in leaving the European Union, Wales still has friends. Because I think Wales's reputation in the European Union is different to the United Kingdom's. I think we have always been thought of as a place that is a contributor to the different programmes that we've been involved in, and that leaves us a legacy of goodwill towards us, which we're lucky to have, and now need to draw on to create new opportunities for young people in Wales to go on travelling and studying and working abroad, and then for young people from those countries to come here. Because when Yusuf was, when we were talking about people being ambassadors for Wales, some of the greatest ambassadors we have are people who come and studied here in Wales, and then go home to whichever country they've come from, and talk us up and let people know about us and persuade other people that we're the sort of place they'd like to visit and study in as well. So that's what we will be going into the election, and if we're here to do it after the election, an ambitious programme, bringing all those things together and looking for new ways that we can keep all this energy and effort alive and thriving.
I think, First Minister, I'd agree with you that inward mobility is as important to Wales as outward mobility, because for lots and lots of Welsh young people, they may not want to, or might not be able to take advantage of an exchange programme themselves travelling abroad, but actually living, studying and working alongside students from other countries who have come to Wales is equally important as valuable. So we've been really successful in establishing the Chevening scholarships with Vietnam, which are seeing Vietnamese students being able to come and study at Welsh universities, as well as working alongside the Welsh Government office in Washington, DC, to establish some really great bilateral arrangements with universities in America who send students to Swansea and Aberystwyth and Bangor as part of the Global Wales programme. So I think that inward mobility is equally valuable to enriching the lives of Welsh students and citizens as outward mobility. So that's a really important part of our plans, I think, is making sure that people can come and see everything that Wales has to offer. I'm going to give the next question to Dante, and then I'm going to have to say goodbye, because I have the pleasure of meeting with the National Education Union to talk about getting more children back to face-to-face learning in Welsh schools. But I'm going to leave you, Dante, Ellie and Yusuf and Liam, in the capable hands of Gareth and the First Minister. I just want to say once again, I am so proud of you guys. I couldn't be prouder than if you were my own children, but in some ways, I do feel like you're my own children. Having had this time being the Education Minister, I'm just so excited to see what you guys do next, because whatever it is, I know it is going to be amazing and you're going to do our nation proud. But so lovely to see you. Take care. Hwyl fawr. Hwyl.
Diolch, Chrissy.
Diolch.
Okay, so I think I can speak on behalf of Ellie and Yusuf when I say that I'm incredibly thankful for all the opportunities that Seren has provided. Also being introduced to the team at Certain Trust, and my outcome right now is multifactorial, but I think I can owe a huge part of it to Seren, to where I am today. I think going forward, it's important to kind of think back about some of the things that you would have liked to hear when you were 17 and applying to university. So it'd just be interesting to hear the kind of things that you wish you were told at that age when you were considering careers, opportunities and subjects to study at university.
Okay, well, Dante, thank you. It's a long time to think back. So when I went to university, the subject that I studied was Latin. So that's what my degree is in. I used to do a feeble joke when I used to lecture in the university here. I used to say to students, I went to university, studied Latin. Of course, it was still widely spoken on the streets in those days. And people would sort of laugh politely and things. And towards the end, I said, and I saw two girls in the front row nodding, as though they thought it was probably true. So I stopped telling that joke from there on. What do I wish I'd known then? I think the first thing, and it's part in a way, Ellie said it earlier on, really, I wish somebody had said to me, don't overplan. Don't worry too much about what comes next. Lots of things will happen to you in life that you've never thought of, never expected. Some of those will be things that will frustrate you. Many of them will be things that offer you new chances and different things that you never knew would come your way. I absolutely never planned to be the First Minister of Wales. That was never in my life plan at all, but the way things turn out sometimes, well, often surprises you. So I think I wish probably somebody had said to me a bit more than they did, just sort of enjoy the day. Enjoy what you're doing today, and don't worry too much about what tomorrow, the day after that is going to bring you, because all those days will come, and all those days will offer you, challenges and opportunities. So enjoy it while you've got it. Enjoy what you're doing at the moment. I try and tell myself that about the job I'm doing now. That you don't do this job for all that long. So even when there are tough days and days when you wonder, why you are doing it, I try and remind myself that what you really got to do is make the most of it while you can, and it'll soon be over, and you'll soon be doing something else. And so take the chance while you've got it. I came to work in the Assembly right at the beginning of devolution. I used to run the political office of Rhodri Morgan, who was the First Minister in that first 10 years. And Rhodri was not a man much given to philosophy, to be honest. He was a doer. He got on with a job and things. But I just remember 2 or 3 times in the 10 years that I worked with him, you'd have had a really tough day, and everything that you had planned had gone wrong, plus a few more things. And it would be 7 o'clock in the evening, and everybody been there since 8 o'clock in the morning, working flat out. And Rhodri would just get the few people who were left together, and his message was always this. He used to say to people, don't go home and worry about today. Don't go home and spend your evening tossing over in your mind why this happened and why that happened. Today is over. Go home and think about tomorrow, and ask yourself, what can we do tomorrow to do better than we did today? And I think if you can do it, that is a great way to, make your way through life, really. And I think that's how Rhodri did it. He'd had a number of setbacks during his political career. He'd fought 2 elections to become leader of the Labour Party. He'd lost them both. He definitely hoped he'd be a minister in the Blair government in 1997, and he wasn't offered a place in the government there. And I think the way that he coped with those difficult setback days was in that way. Never look back. Never spend your mind dwelling. I knew him for about 7 years after he stopped being First Minister, and I never once heard him in that whole time start a sentence by saying, "Oh, when I was First Minister, he never sort of tried to relive those experiences." And I think somebody said that to me when I was 17. Enjoy the day, get what you can out of it, think about tomorrow, don't overplan it, wait to see what happens, take the opportunities as they come. I think that would have worked for me.
Thank you very much, First Minister. I think we have a short film that we're going to show now.
Well.
Shemai, hello. Lovely to see you all. Some of us have known each other since our summer schools to the US and Jesus College. Now, a few of the Saran family, along with some very special guests, wanted to get together to wish you a happy St. David's Day. Dydd Guldewi hapus to you all from Wales. Over to you guys.
Mor braf I weld eich llwyddiant. Dydd Guldewi hapus, joiwch eich diwrnod a Cymru am byth.
Hi Yusuf, it's Mrs. Kemp here, just checking in to say hi and happy St. David's Day, and just to remind you just how proud we all are back in Fitzalan, watching you and all your adventures over in the States.
It's fantastic to see you chasing your dream and really taking every opportunity that you're getting. We're really proud. Looking forward to seeing you back in Cardiff at some point when restrictions are lifted. But I'm determined as well in your time in America to get over to see you actually in Harvard. So take care, lots and lots of love, and we hope to catch up soon.
Dydd Guldewi hapus, neis I gweld chi gyd eto a gobeithio bod chi'n cael diwrnod neis.
Hi Dante, Mrs. Lloyd here. Just a message to say we're incredibly proud of everything you've achieved so far and everything you continue to achieve out in Chicago. It's lovely to see you enjoying your studies alongside all the other Welsh Seren students out in the US, and we know you're doing so well, and we're so proud of you. Everybody at Llanishen High School sends their very best wishes and a happy St. David's Day to you. Dydd Guldewi Sant.
Hey Dante, I hope you're doing well and smashing it out over in Chicago. We miss you loads here and I hope we can see you soon. Happy St. David's Day and have a good one.
Hello Ellie, greetings from Gower College, Swansea to you, and we hope that everything is going well for you in St. John's College. It's lovely to see you today and to be able to give you the very best wishes for St. David's Day. I hope you have a wonderful time. Lovely to know that you're on this event today and that people from Swansea and all around the area can actually hear you talking and see you in the States and know that it can be a real event for them as well. We've had at least one person start in the States this year after you, so we're looking forward to seeing who we can get organised to come and follow you this year.
Dydd Guldewi hapus, happy St. David's Day from Oxford.
Hi Liam, great to see you. Congratulations on all the great things you've been doing since you graduated from Yale NUS College. Liam and I were involved in the founding of Yale NUS College in Singapore several years ago. I was the founding president and Liam was one of the first students there. And subsequently he came to Yale and now he's headed off to Stanford. We wish you were coming back to Yale, Liam, but we're really proud of you heading off to Stanford. You're doing great things and you've done terrific work in Wales. We're so proud of our involvement with the Seren Network. It was a delight to meet Minister Kirsty Williams when I visited you in Wales a little while ago. And of course, Yale has a long history with Wales since our namesake, Elihu Yale, ultimately was Welsh. So it's great that we're developing that partnership. I want to wish everybody a happy St. David's Day and thanks so much, Liam.
Dydd Guldewi hapus, joyous hostel.
Huge congratulations to you, Dante, Ellie, Yusuf and Liam for all the work that you've achieved and all the steps that you've taken to get to where you are today, for taking that big step to study in the US and to take Wales beyond Wales and take your Welsh heritage into the US and educate the US as to what it means to be Welsh. We couldn't be prouder of you and we're excited to see your next steps along the way. I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Minister, as well, for your vision, your passion and your energy that you've brought to both the Seren project generally and also to studying in the United States. We're so proud to be a partner of the Seren network. I really hope that more Welsh students think about stepping out on an exciting journey to study in the US and to take the similar steps that these students have taken as well. So that just leaves me to say a huge Dydd Guldewi hapus.
Helo o'r Rhydychen a Dydd Guldewi gwych I chi gyd. Gobeithio newch chi gyd fwynhau.
Gwrewch y pethau bychan.
Fantastic to see so many Seren faces there. From Oxford, Cambridge, Sir Fôn, Swansea, Cardiff and New Haven in Connecticut. It's true to say that we are all proud of our roots, our families and friends, and we'll always be Welsh, wherever we are in the world. To quote a traditional Welsh saying, Gwish gen hunen yn dy gap a gwish ci yn dy galon. Broadly translated, we will never forget that we are Welsh. And that's so true. Happy St. David's Day to all Seren learners. Gwnewch y pethau bychain, as Dewi Sant said. Do the little things. So true today and always. Dydd Guldewi hapus I chi gyd. Happy St. David's Day.
Well, that was great. Some nice surprises for you there, seeing seeing Mrs. Kemp among all the other ones there, so I knew you were talking about earlier. I think, as the First Minister said, it's really great to see the teachers who supported you on your journey still taking an interest and still supporting you. And it's really clear also that the bonds that were formed on the SEREN programme are long-lasting and sticking with you, and have really created a sense of family amongst you all. Just before we wrap up, I just wondered if anybody had any final questions for the First Minister. If not, then I'd just like to say, from my perspective in Washington, I lead the Welsh Government team in the United States and Canada, and we've been a very small part in very small cog in the SEREN machine, really, in helping to deliver things on the ground here. We had the pleasure of supporting the Education Minister when she came out in 2018, and she'd been working with Liam and with Rhian back in Wales to make progress with Yale, and it's been so rewarding to see this thing grow over time and to learn the practical benefits that this has delivered to you all and the people who went through the programme. My colleague Kelly Taylor, who's done a lot of work to help to arrange this, and FA Sokol, who I think many of you will have known and remember from your visits over here. They're based in our New York office. They've done great work on this. But as someone who's been in the United States for a few years now, having the honour of representing Wales overseas, I can honestly say that the SEREN programme has been one of the most rewarding things that we've worked on, because you deliver such positive benefits to the people who participate in the scheme, with strong leadership from the ministers, and the rock solid backing that we've had in that respect has really made this programme, I think, succeed beyond the expectations that we could have had when it started. So I know I'd just like to thank you all for the tremendous attitude that you've had and the ambition that you've shown. And like the Education Minister said, it's really looking forward to seeing where you all go in the future. So thank you, ministers. Thank you, students. Thank you, Liam. Thank you to Kelly, and thank you to Rhian as well for all the work that's gone into putting this together and making it such a successful experience. First Minister, would you like to say some closing remarks?
Oh, well, just diolch yn fawr I chi gyd. Now, I'm deeply ashamed, you see, because you are all wearing your SEREN hoodies, every one of you, and I was given one to wear for today. But as you will all remember, the sun is shining in Cardiff today, and it's just too hot to wear it. So that is the Wales I'm sure you remember, with the sun always shining on a February day. But here it is, just to prove that I had one as well, and just to say thank you all very much indeed for sharing your stories today, for being part of the fantastic SEREN programme. It has been great to hear about what you're all doing, and as I say, wherever you are in the world and whatever your lives take you, you will be part of Wales, and you'll be ambassadors for Wales, and we look forward very much to when you come back, whether it is to stay or whether it is to visit, and bringing all those experiences with you as well. Fel mae pob un wedi dweud yn y ffilm ni wedi weld, dydd Gwyl Dewi hapus I chi gyd.